Hi everyone, welcome back to Economics by Arsha, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about supply. So, to define, supply is the willingness and ability of a producer to supply a product at a given price at a given time, ceteris paribus. In one of my previous videos of demand, I gave a more in-depth explanation of what ceteris paribus means, but just to remind you, it really just means all things equal. Now, there is a criteria that is used to decide whether or not a producer is technically supplying a product or not, and this is the willingness and ability of the producer. A producer may be willing to supply a product at a certain price, but may not have the ability to do so because the resources may be too expensive, and in order to gain enough revenue, they must do it at a higher price. On the other hand, a producer may have the ability to supply a product at a certain price, but not the willingness, because they might want to make more profit and might supply it at a higher price. But when a producer is supplying a product with the willingness and ability at that price, at that time, it is constituted as supply. Now, the law of supply states that as the price of a product increases, the supply of the product increases as well. What this means is that as the price of a product is increasing, so will the quantity supplied of the product. What this means is that supply actually has a proportional relationship to price, unlike demand, which has an inverse relationship. Now, there are two ways to define the nature of supply in a market. It could either be quantity supplied or supply. Now, a change in quantity supplied occurs when there is a change in price, and price only. What this means is that if the price shifted from, let's say, $1 to $2, there would be an increase in the quantity supplied, from maybe 2 units to 4 units. And this would result in a shift along the curve. So whenever you see a shift along the curve in a graph, this means that there is a change in the quantity supplied. Now the shift could be down, which means a decrease in quantity supplied, or up, which means an increase in quantity supplied. And a change in quantity supplied always assumes ceteris paribus, all things equal, meaning that the only factor changing in this situation is price. Next, we have supply. Now, a change in supply occurs when there is a change in one of the 5 determinants of supply. So, in order to recognize a change in supply, you would simply see a shift of the whole supply curve. And this would either be to the right, which means an increase in supply, or to the left, which is a decrease in supply. Again, a change in supply assumes ceteris paribus, meaning that there's only a change in one of the 5 determinants of supply, not more. Furthermore, the reason why there's a shift of the whole supply curve is because there is a change in the quantity supplied at every single price. So if there's a change of quantity supplied at every price, the whole supply curve would shift, either to the right or the left. Let's try some practice problems. Illustrate the effect of the government placing a sale tax on animal feed on the market for milk. So here we have a graph that shows the market for milk, the price of milk on the y-axis, and the quantity of milk on the x-axis. And we have our original supply curve. Now, if the government is placing a sale tax on animal feed, this is clearly not a change in price, so we can assume it is a change in one of the 5 determinants of supply. So, if there's an increase in sale tax, or placing a sale tax even, on animal feed, this means that it would be more expensive for the farmer to take care of his animals, feed his animals, and produce milk. So this would mean that there is a shift of the supply curve to the left. And this is illustrated by this arrow, Make sure that you always draw this arrow so that you know that there is a shift of the supply curve, and label both the different supply curves. This one is the original supply curve, so it's S, and then the new supply curve, which is S1. And what this shows is that there's a decrease in supply. If you had to write out an answer, you could simply say, if the government placed a sales tax on animal feed, the supply for milk would decrease, illustrated by the shift of the supply curve to the left, ceteris paribus. As the price of animal feed increases, it would be more expensive to care for the animals, resulting in the supply of milk to decrease. Less milk would be supplied at every price. Let's move on to the next question. Illustrate the effect of a decrease in product prices on the market for socks. So here again we have a graph illustrating the market for socks, or just the supply side of it. And on the y-axis we have plotted the price of socks, and on the x-axis we have plotted the quantity of socks. So here it says there's a decrease in product prices, and by the product we mean socks. So if there's a decrease in the price of socks, then there would be a decrease in supply, because as the law of supply states, a decrease in the price of a product would result in a decrease in supply as well, or quantity supplied. So this would be illustrated by a shift along the curve or down the curve. So as the price decreases, there's a decrease in quantity supplied. So if we had to write the answer, we could simply say, if the price of socks were to decrease, the quantity supplied for socks would decrease as well, illustrated by the shift of the quantity supplied down the curve, ceteris paribus. When you do more practice questions, you'll also come across values being used in your graph, which would make graphs talking about a change in quantity supplied a little more explicit with the change. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and do comment if you have any questions, and I'll be sure to answer, and turn on your notifications so that you know when I post my next video. Bye!